people, LP2000 right back at you with another video. Yes, welcome back to Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews on behalf of Summer Kaiju. And I'm your host, Leslie P. Chambers. And today we're taking a break from X Plus and fig reviews and all that other good stuff. And normally I wouldn't do something like this because there are a lot of people out there that have already made their reviews of this new movie. Yes, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yes, it just got released a few days ago. And once again, since there have been so many reviews from a lot of different people with a lot of different perspectives on this movie, I just didn't feel the need to make a video like this. But after seeing the movie for the first time last night and have it still fresh in my mind, I had to come up here and speak on this film. I felt compelled to do so. And let me just tell you, this film is awesome. If you have not seen this film, please go out your way to watch this film. And during the course of this video, I would document, I guess, the week that I had leading up to me going and seeing the film with my family. And then I'll talk about some stuff involving the film. Now, just want to forewarn y'all now, this will contain some spoilers. So if you're not seeing the film, pause this video, go see the film, then come back. But if you don't mind me talking about spoilers, then, you know, just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. But I wanted to give y'all just a fair warning that I will be talking about spoilers during the course of this video of the movie. Now, how my week started, since I didn't see the film until last night. Last night was June the 1st, 2019 on a Saturday evening. Mind you, the film started doing advanced screenings, I want to say, like maybe Tuesday, I believe. Cause my great friend, Godzilla851 on YouTube, Matt Jacobson, and also my great friend, Jeremy Souls from Summit Kaiju, they went and saw the film, I want to believe Tuesday. I know Godzilla851 saw it on Tuesday. I think Jeremy did see it on Tuesday, or at least Wednesday, 1 or 2. But they had advanced screenings to go and see the film. And their reviews, at least their feedback from the film or their impressions of the film, were fairly positive, highly positive. Godzilla851 even said that it is now his most favorite Godzilla film of all time, which surprised the crap out of me because for the longest time, Godzilla was the King Ghidorah. 1991 was his favorite Godzilla film of all time. I didn't think any film would trump that. But you know, this is a situation where sometimes a new movie is so good, sometimes it could trump something that's already been your number one for the longest time, especially if you're a fan of the classic movies. Like my great friend John Ruffin from MyKaiju.com. For the longest time, his favorite Godzilla film, from what I understand, was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974. But Shin Godzilla kind of like trumped that, you know? So there are situations where sometimes a new film will actually replace an older film on your list or whatever. So that was very positive. Then they started having more screenings of the film, you know, Wednesday, then it started like Thursday and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of my friends, especially on Facebook, were going to see the film. Now, when it comes to Facebook, you already know about Facebook and social media and stuff like that. If you don't want to be spoiled when it comes to a new movie, it's just best to stay away from social media. It's best to stay away from Facebook. Now, social media sometimes is required for a lot of people for business and stuff like that. So there are times where people sometimes have no choice but to go on social media to find out not anything but particular relating to a movie that's coming out, but, you know, like I said, for business, if they want to get in contact with certain people, blah, blah, blah. So me, knowing that there are a lot of Godzilla fans out there and knowing that a lot of my friends are Godzilla fans, I would just pop in on Facebook and I pop out because everything I saw was people talking about the film, and there were some people that were actually going into spoilers. And even though I wouldn't mind hearing or seeing a little bit about spoilers, I didn't want to get too much revealed to me at that point in time. So I would pop in on Facebook, I would see what's going on like in certain chats and certain threads, and then when I saw that it was getting too much into the spoiler territory, I'll just back out. I backed out of Facebook. I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this. I don't want to be spoiled. So that's what happened for us, like me and Facebook and learning about, you know, some of the things that happened prior to me watching the film. Like I said, I didn't know too much. I just, like I said, I read enough for me to, before I got into really heavy spoiler territory, then I was like, you know what, I'm coming out of it. I don't want to get too spoiled, you know what I mean? But for what I saw from a lot of my friends, it was fairly positive. Of course, here and there, you're going to have some people that say, you know, it could have been better. You know, it doesn't still trump my top 10. It doesn't enter my top 10. It was an okay effort. It should have included 20 minutes of more monster action, which honestly, I don't understand that, honestly, after seeing this film. But more on that later. So that's what happened to me for like maybe like say from Tuesday all the way up until like Friday. Then fast forward to yesterday, and my wife and our 2 grandkids met up with a great friend of mine and his wife, Chris Griffiths, and his wife Amanda, who are also local Godzilla fans like us. And we were probably like probably the biggest Godzilla fans, especially collectors in the area, in that particular movie theater, because we went to the Alamo Drafthouse, and that was actually my first time going to the Alamo Drafthouse. Yes, I have never been to the Alamo Drafthouse. I've been recommended to go, not only by Chris, but my great friend Brutezilla on YouTube, Butch Bollinger, because he has been there a few times, and they will always tell me like, man, you need to go. You know, it's more so. It's more than just a movie experience. You know, it has a restaurant there. It has like all these movies that you can rent and novelty items of all these movies and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? Chris invited me to go with him and his wife. And I asked my wife and our grandkids to go. And we all met up at the Alamo Drafthouse. And that was a fun going experience. I walk in and the first thing I see, because they had like this giant mural like on this wall before you get into the movie theaters. There's like 2 halls that goes into separate movie theaters. One on the right, one on the left. And above it all, there's like this giant mural of like, you know, movie icons or movie characters. And why when I walk in do I see a giant mural of Mechagodzilla? The show of Mechagodzilla was like front dead and center right in the middle of this awesome mural. Also Godzilla from the Edge of Outer Space, he was like alongside Mechagodzilla but kind of faded out, but I knew what it was. And another one that made me mark out, like going towards the left of Mechagodzilla, it was Sanda and Gyra. Yes, it was Sanda and Gyra painted just fighting each other. I was like, oh yeah, that was a great, great sign. Oh man, I was like, oh, I'm already loving this place. I'm already having plans to go back real soon. I think they're going to be showcasing Jaws, the original Jaws from 1975, I believe around July 4th. And I would definitely be going back. Me and Sandra would definitely be going back to enjoy that. So... But going into the Alamo Drafthouse, I'm already just pumped. I'm already hyped. I was already hyped enough for the movie. But seeing Mechagodzilla, Godzilla, and the Gargantuous, I was like, oh yeah, that just basically just cemented it. It just solidified it. I was like, yes, this is going to be an awesome time. So I walk into the movie theater, and they ask you to get there, let's say 30 minutes prior to the movie's release, or when it starts showing the movie, I should say. And that's when, you know, waiters come in and actually they take your order. You can order food, burgers, salads, you know, cookies, and just all this great food. And then all the while we're waiting for Godzilla to come on the screen, they're actually showing like old clips of like old Godzilla commercials, like Godzilla vs. Charles Barkley. There was a Cheerio commercial involving Godzilla. You know, just showing old Japanese Toho trailers of the classic films, even Japanese commercials where Godzilla is used in the product placement of those Japanese commercials. Nothing but Godzilla related, nothing but Godzilla footage, old and classic stuff. And I was like, man, this makes it even better. Then the film starts. Let me just say, while this film does not enter my top 10 of favorite Godzilla films, because honestly, my top 10, you know, there's nothing that's going to come out that's going to replace them. Because since I've been a Godzilla fan for the longest time, the films I have in my top 10 are just so good that it's going to be kind of hard to anything to trump them. You know, because in my list, you have Mothra vs. Godzilla, Monster Zero, King Kong vs. Godzilla, GMK, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and other films. But I have to say, this film comes really, really close to entering my top 10. Let me just tell you, this film was a fun, just an absolutely fun and awesome ride. There were so many different moments in the film where I was actually marking out. Like certain moments in the film, if a certain monster would show up, if a certain theme song would pop in here and there, or just the sequence of events that would happen in the film. I'm sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Because in 2014, it was just me and my wife, right? Just her and I went to go see 2014. And I have to say, and Sandra, I know you're probably watching this, I want to give you a huge apology. I'm so sorry. Because mind you, when we watched 2014, she's sitting right next to me, obviously. And whenever Godzilla would come on screen and whatever he is hinted at or whatever, I would always take my hand and smack her knee because I'm getting excited, right? You know? And by the end of the night, her knees were kind of tore up, which she's probably have not forgiven me for. But hey, that's why she's the best wife in the world. You know what I mean? So this time I was like, babe, look, you ain't got to worry about me messing your knee up. That way we're not going to the nearest hospital after we leave here. So I was just doing this to my chair the whole night. But then there were times where certain moments happened in the film. She was actually tapping my knee. She was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. So to put it in one sentence, this film was really, really amazing. I really enjoyed this film. You know, I know I'm going to watch it at least one more time, or at least two more times before it gets out of the theater circulation. But for my first viewing, this film was amazing, and it made me proud to be a Godzilla fan. And this film, in my opinion, it has elements of Showa, has elements of Heisei, it has elements of Millennium stuff, or Millennium era films in this film. It just shows that the director or the writers or whoever who was involved in making this film, either they're not fans or at least they know the source material. You know what I mean? And as a Godzilla fan, as a lifelong Godzilla fan, that means a lot because it shows that they care. It shows that they cared enough to make this movie to at least not try to replicate what the older films did, but just have certain homages of the older films included in this film to make it even greater film. To not only to appease or at least please the classic and older and lifelong Godzilla fans, but also have that boisterous, over-the-top action that will appeal to the common fans. And there were some homages in this film. Once again, I'm going to spoiler territory, so once again, if you have not seen the movie, pause it, this video, go to the movie, then come back. But this is your last and final warning. I will go into spoilers as of right now. 3, 2, 1. Yes, from my perspective, it had some callbacks to Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. It had some callbacks to GMK. Even Godzilla Final Wars. Yes, I saw elements of Godzilla Final Wars in this film, and it looked amazing. Where do I need to start? Because it's so much stuff to really cover, but I don't want to go into a lot of detail because I'm planning to do a live stream with a couple other friends of mine who actually saw the film sometime next weekend maybe, or the weekend after that. So I don't want to go into a lot of detail here, but I'll just give you my first impressions of this film. And once again, like I said, it has callbacks, like I said, the Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, GMK, Godzilla Final Wars, the original Mothra, 1961. You know, there are probably some others in there that I have missed, but that's what I saw for the first time, last night. I'm sure there were others, but I need to watch the film again to get more of an accurate tally of what other movies that they were paying homage to. But this film did so many great things. It gave us a Mothra versus Rodan fight, which is something we have never seen before. We have never seen, I mean, of course they got into it briefly in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, but we have never seen an aerial version of Rodan or a flying version of Mothra get into it, and that's what we saw. You know what I mean? And there's a certain moment where they get into it, and Mothra does something to Rodan that made me and Sandra just bust out loud laughing. Oh man, if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Basically, Mothra was Ike Turner and Rodan was Tina Turner. I'm just going to leave it at that. What else I love about this film? I just love the whole apocalyptic look of the film, especially towards the tail end, whenever these monsters show up, there's storms and there's clouds and rain and all that other stuff. It's just a really just apocalyptic situation. Kind of like how I looked in Godzilla Final Wars at the tail end where Godzilla fights Monster X and then Kaiser, then Gigan and all that good stuff, where everything is basically black. The sky is just black and there's nothing but fires raging everywhere. The city is basically decimated and you have these monsters just duking it out, battling amongst each other. It has that type of feel to it. So I really do enjoy that. Also, I enjoyed, basically, the main thing I love about this film is King Ghidorah. Yes, they did this version of King Ghidorah so amazing and so perfectly, especially for me being a huge King Ghidorah fan. I walked out of that theater saying, you know what? That's King Ghidorah. That's the King Ghidorah that we have not seen since the original film. And as much as I love Monster Zero, Destroy All Monsters, Gigan, the Zone Fighter episodes, 1991, GMK, Kaiser, whatever, I've always wanted to see them come back with a version of King Ghidorah that comes close to the original. And let me just say, Godzilla King of the Monsters fulfilled that prophecy, fulfilled that need for me. This King Ghidorah was awesome. He was super dangerous. He basically owned Godzilla, which is something that I wanted to see for a long time, because that's something that King Ghidorah basically has never done. Throughout all his skirmishes with Godzilla or whatever, Godzilla, how, somehow, somewhere has always came out on top, or at least have gotten the better of him, whether Godzilla was assisted by other monsters or not. Something that has never been done, that I've never seen in a Godzilla film that comes to King Ghidorah, is the fact that King Ghidorah gets the best of Godzilla and has a last laugh on a couple occasions, and that happens in this film. I also love how they talk about the connection between Godzilla and King Ghidorah. You know what I mean? They're drawn to each other, and basically, like I mentioned in my King Ghidorah X Plus 1964 review, based off trailers that we've seen from this film, King Ghidorah, in a way, is like a rival alpha to Godzilla. They fight a couple times. King Ghidorah gets the better of Godzilla, and then King Ghidorah assumes the role of the new rival kaiju alpha, or super predator alpha. And then his appearance basically brings out all these other monsters that are hiding in these places all around the world. You have Rodan, you have like this giant mastodon, and you have I think a spider, not Kumonga, but a spider tarantula type creature. Even the Mutos, even one of the Mutos comes back. You know what I mean? And just various monsters all around the world that pop up, or at least they are being called or being summoned by King Ghidorah, assuming the role as a new alpha. But then Godzilla comes back and fights King Ghidorah, and once again, King Ghidorah gets the better of Godzilla during the last battle. But somehow, some way, Godzilla gets supercharged by Mothra, which is kind of a callback scene to the 1993 film. You know what I mean? And also GMK in a lot of respects. And then Godzilla just gets supercharged and basically just blows King Ghidorah to smithereens. So that's basically Godzilla in a nutshell. Godzilla King of the Monsters in a nutshell. Let me just say, I have never been so excited in a long time over a Godzilla film. This film makes me proud to be a Godzilla fan. I don't care what other folks have said. This is from my perspective. This is from my interpretation. This is from my two functioning eyeballs. You know what I mean? I don't try to have other people or other people's opinion dictate how I look at it. And I think a lot of folks should feel the same way. Just because it's good to me or great to me doesn't mean it's going to be great to you. But don't take the word of other people that's negative. You know what I mean? Go to the film, see it for yourself, and just realize this is a Godzilla film. You know what I mean? And this is a great Godzilla film. Once again, this film, in my opinion, is more so catered to Godzilla fans, because there were so many Easter eggs in this film that say, oh, that's an homage to that. Oh, that's an homage to that. Oh, that's an homage to that. And once again, this film made me proud to be a Godzilla fan. It wasn't cheesy. It wasn't goofy. It was super serious. It had lots of monster action. It had lots of great special effects. Just the human story, even though it could have been just a little bit better, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. Plus, I wasn't going to the film to see the human story anyway, even though there are some Godzilla films that have great human stories. I would say in the grand scheme of things, or in the grand spectrum of things, this human story was really good. It wasn't the best in the world, but it was really good to complement the monster action. And I'm glad they went into this direction where they gave us more monsters, more monster action. Because 2014, even though I like the film, don't necessarily love it, I enjoyed what they did with that film, where they basically kept Godzilla hidden for majority of the movie, and they only showed him when they absolutely had to. So the build up to Godzilla's appearance was done really, really good, even though it was long. But the payoff was absolutely worth it in the end for 2014. With this film, they decided to go into the other direction by giving us more monsters, more Godzilla, just more, basically everything. Like I mentioned in a couple of videos a while ago, 2014 is like the original Jaws, where we don't see the shark that much and we don't see Godzilla that much, but when we do see him, it does make up for the lack of seeing him, if that makes sense. The build to seeing the shark and seeing Godzilla is paid off really well at the end. Jaws 2, they showed more of the shark, more explosions, more action, blah, blah, blah. Godzilla King of the Monsters kind of follows that same type of path and same type of route. And it's awesome. It really is an amazing, awesome film. I cannot recommend this film enough. And once again, this film made me so proud to be a Godzilla fan. I'm looking around at all the people in the audience at the Alamo Drafthouse. I'm sure some people, know of Godzilla and know about him and his films. But I'm sure the good majority of those films were not super hardcore fans like myself, Sandra, Chris, and his wife. Maybe there were a couple more that was peppered out throughout the film. But I'm sure majority of those people went and saw this film because they know the name of Godzilla but not know like the true history behind the character, like myself, like Sandra, and like Chris and his wife, right? So it was amazing seeing all these people's faces when the great monster action would happen, on screen. I'm sitting there like, yep, you should have been you should have been a Godzilla fan a long time ago. But through it all, let me put a bow on this review. Because I want y'all to go see the film for yourself. It really is an amazing film. Don't pay attention to the negativity. Don't pay attention to Rotten Tomatoes. And honestly, in the years I've been going to the movies, I've not even paid attention to Rotten Tomatoes, just not even once. You know what I mean? I don't even know what Rotten Tomatoes is, honestly. With all due respect to people who do look to that website or that rating system as something that dictates whether they will watch or not watch a movie, that's fine, but for me, I didn't pay attention to that. I didn't pay attention to people's negativity of the film or Godzilla fans that went to the film expecting something more. Once again, I went in there with my own interpretations, with my own perspectives, and at the end of the day, just like every other Godzilla film, because at the end of the day, it's about being entertained, right? It's about having fun. It's about just having a good time with these films, of seeing these giant creatures beat the crap out of each other and basically use our cities and towns and our world as like their boxing ring. And coming out of it, I gotta ask myself the same question as I always ask when I watch any other Godzilla film. Was I thoroughly entertained? The answer is yes, 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 yes. This film did so much to entertain me. Once again, if I'm sitting there marking out over moments because I'm invested into the movie. Not because it's a Godzilla film, yes, that adds into it too, but it's a good movie overall. Even if you're not a Godzilla fan, this film is such a great film. Kind of along the lines of the first Pacific Rim, not the second one. let's get that clear. Like the first Pacific Rim, an action-packed, just dynamite kaiju flick. Godzilla King of the Monsters actually just takes it up a notch, even further. So I can't recommend this film. I can't recommend this film enough. This film is so awesome. Like I said, I plan on seeing it a few more times before it's gone from the theater circulation, and I can't wait for it to go out or come out on Blu-ray, blah blah blah. Which I will have to guess since it's June. I would say expect the Blu-ray to drop. I probably would say September or October, 1 to 2, because as popular as this film is and as much money as I believe it will make, they tend to push movies that do a lot well in the movie theaters. They tend to push them out sooner on Blu-ray. That way people can have more access to it. So I would expect this film to drop, like I said, either September or October, at the latest November. Probably better be November to drop on Godzilla's birthday. You know what I mean? November 3rd. You know what I mean? But yes, through it all, such a great film. And once again, I cannot recommend this film enough. I really can't. So if you can, go out your way and try to watch it. Have a good time with it. And it's just amazing. Godzilla King of the Monsters. Once again, it was, 5 years. It's been a long time coming for this film. 5 years that we had to wait for this film. And I can honestly tell you that it was well worth the wait. And don't forget, next year, we got the next film in the MonsterVerse, Godzilla vs. Kong. Oh, I forgot to mention about Kong. Yes, Kong is also mentioned in this film. He's peppered out throughout the film. We do see him, but it's basically old footage from Skull Island. We don't see any new footage of him, but we know that he's out there. And honestly, at the very end, or at least when King Ghidorah deals with Godzilla the second time and he assumes the role of alpha male and all these monsters come out, Kong is really the only one that doesn't really show his face. But obviously, you know, we're going to see him next year, you know, whatever. And the ending scene, the last post-credit scene, let me just say, I am on board with Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't think we need a third-party monster in that film. I think the film involving Godzilla and Kong fighting for the second time is more than enough to carry a movie. But the post-credit scene didn't leave me too optimistic about that. Not trying to say it's a bad thing, but once you watch the film and once you watch the post-credit scene, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But through it all, Godzilla King of Monsters, awesome film. Awesome film. It did some callbacks to the older films. It has elements of Showa, Heisei, and Millennium era stuff in the films. You know, they did right by King Ghidorah for the first time, in my opinion, since 1964. You know, Godzilla was done right, Mothra was done right, Rodan was done excellent. All the other monsters that were only snippets in the film, you know, this was just a well done and just well-rounded and just awesome action-packed kaiju film. And as far as a Godzilla fan and a kaiju fan, I couldn't ask anything more than that. So that's pretty much my review of the Godzilla King of Monsters 2019 film. Once again, I give it 10 out of 10 stars. If I even have a rating system, which I don't, you know, it's an awesome film. Amazing film. Go out your way and try to watch it. You will not be disappointed. Yes, yes, yes. Now, as far as figure reviews, because we got to talk about figure reviews, I'm doing the X Plus 25 centimeter Monster X as well as the Godzilla 2004 25 centimeter. I'm doing a double review of of those two figures. That should be coming real soon. Also, I'm doing the 25 centimeter landing stage soft vinyl of Hedra. I'm also doing the diamond reissue of the 1999 Godzilla version 2. I got that coming. I'm doing a revisit of the Mothra 1961, both 25 centimeter adult version and 30 centimeter lower version, and I'm doing the 30 centimeter 1955 Godzilla revisit. I'm doing that, you know. Not to mention other stuff that's coming down the pipeline, like 25 centimeter Godzilla 2000 should be dropping sometime next month. Hopefully, the Prime 1 Gamera will come out this month. Hopefully, we won't get no stupid daggone delay information at the last minute like they've been doing for the past 2 or 3 months. I ain't trying to get myself mad in this video. Oh man, but then next month you got the 30 centimeter Baragon from Gamma vs. Baragon, the new 25 centimeter Godzilla 1964 B suit from X Plus. Also, I'm going to G-Fest next month, and I'm probably doing some chronicling there of stuff I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be a lot more involved in G-Fest this year as I ever been, with panels and some other stuff. But I'm going to try and do some more videos and interviews and stuff like that. Just lots of stuff is coming here on the channel, and you will not be disappointed. But once again, the purpose of this video is to tell y'all my experiences leading up to Godzilla King of the Monsters, me enjoying King of the Monsters, and I can honestly tell you that once again, 5 years was worth the wait, and I highly recommend this awesome film, which for sure will bring so much exposure and awareness and just bring in new fans, I'm sure, to this awesome character, Godzilla, this amazing film from Legendary, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Alright, so I thank you for watching, I appreciate it, and I will see y'all again on this figure move review. Alright, y'all take it easy.